7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to suggest changes to Dead by Daylight. But anyways, let's just get started. You know what, with the artist, my favorite killer, my beloved. The artist, these changes are to improve her sniping game, but just demote her insane anti-loop, which in my opinion is pretty absurd, and is the second best anti-loop in the game, and we all know who that is right behind. So the buff would be when a swarm survivor enters a locker, the swarm is disturbed for 2 seconds, locking the survivor in the locker and revealing them with killer instinct during that time before instantly being repelled and allowing them to get back out. But her nerfs would be that drop pallets and windows count as terrain, again, lessen the anti-loop, and while the survivor is within 6 meters of the dire crow, this one is pretty big. Its aura is revealed to them, so this can tell a survivor the direction the crow is facing when they're near it, which will also be helpful in close quarter anti-loop situations. Her add-on changes, Garden of Rot is dog shit. Let's just completely rework it. When dire crows swarm a survivor further than 24 meters from any dire crow, they are exposed, and this effect persists for 2 seconds after dire crows are repelled from a survivor. This is pretty much to allow for slingshots, kind of, from with only one crow. So normally with a slingshot, you will need to set up 2 crows and be precise. With the Garden of Rot, you can, with lethal, like let's say with lethal, set up a crow at the beginning of the game. They get on gen, you send it, and you're already like pretty close to that gen. You send it, it hits someone, they're exposed, and you have pretty much just gotten an insta-down on them because the dire crow is across the fucking map and you are not. So that's pretty much the point of this add-on. It's not going to be too helpful any other times, I would say, with the way that it works. And Charcoal Stick, this add-on's trash, complete rework. The disturb duration is increased by 50%, and the killer instinct effect persists for 1 second after a swarm survivor exits a locker. So again, this is just helping the new mechanic of disturbed. Now, the Cenobite Pinhead. Thus, while within 6 meters of the lament configuration is revealed, who honestly cares? It's just to help the newer Pinheads, or the ones who don't have like headphones on, or they don't have good headphones, to where they can hear the lament configuration on the ground, just to help out a little bit. So this isn't a game-changing buff at all, like in the slightest. This is like a really minor one. When hit by a possessed chain, the time it takes to remove the first chain is increased by 25%. Kind of increase the anti-loop power slightly, not too much, little slight change as well. It's kind of similar to the first one, but definitely going to be more impactful. And when a healthy survivor is hit by a possessed chain that travels 16 meters or further from its gateway, they are instantly injured. This does not count for injured survivors. You're not going to be downing people with a chain. I'm sorry, that's not happening. That is stupid. And the nerfs, when a survivor is solving the lament configuration, they are immune to passive chains, and passive chains only spawn when the survivor with the lament configuration in hand. If they are holding the lament configuration, chains will only spawn onto them when they are running. If the chain hut meter is full and they have the lament configuration, the passive chains will pretty much kill themselves unless that survivor is running. So this makes it so the lament configuration, if you're chasing this lament configuration survivor, they're either going to have to walk, which is stupid as hell, or just run and get absolutely railed by passive chains while in a chase with you. And while the survivor with the lament configuration is in the Cenobite tear radius, they will hear a distant and non-directional chorus. Kind of, basically just kind of toning down the obliviousness you get when holding the lament configuration. And the add-ons, Engineer's Fang Total Rework. This doesn't really, it's not noted, or it doesn't sound too much like a total rework, but yes, this is a total rework. This would be the entire add-on. So no, when you hit somebody that is injured, there are no longer 2 chain spawning, it's going to still be 3. Reduces the distance required for a possessed chain to travel before injuring a healthy survivor by 75%. So this is going to help you get this that third buff more often, without any other downsides to it. So yeah, I think that will be some pretty helpful changes to Pinhead. but I don't think they will affect him too much in the lower levels of play, I don't think. Because his anti-loop power is definitely really hard to use. And finally, fucking cringe lord over here. Main event can be contained for 60 seconds instead of 30 until there are 2 seconds left of main event. When you've activated it, it lasts. I don't fucking know. I don't play Trickster. It lasts some time, but at the until there are only 2 seconds left as you've activated it, the movement speed during it is increased to survivor movement speed, so 4.0, so you can kind of keep up with them. And for the last 2 seconds, when you activate main event, the last 2 seconds of main event, the Trickster's throwing speed increases to times 2.1333 instead of the times 1.6667. Base kit trick blades, so your blades are going to be fucking bouncing off walls and shit. Pretty lit. Downing a survivor during main event instantly blows up all generators on the map for 6% progress and incapacitates survivors working on them for 12 seconds, but this can only occur once during each main event. So it's just a little something to give him a little bit of map pressure if he's using his main event well. And the nerfs for the last 2 seconds of main event, the movement speed of main event is decreased to 3.76 meters a second, so that is significantly slower than a survivor by a pretty good margin, as long as they're hugging walls tightly. But again, with the buff for the last 2 seconds, so for this same duration, you're gonna be throwing blades like a fucking machine gun. So you're gonna be going faster for the entirety of main event until those last 2 seconds, and everything else is the same. But for the last 2 seconds, you're going to go slower, but you're going to start fucking the fucking knives. And main event activates after landing 38 knives instead of 30 knives. So it just takes a little bit more effort to get that main event off because of all these main event buffs. Like, they're pretty much all main event buffs. And then trick blades, total rework because they're base kit now. Blades reflect back towards the Trickster after traveling 24 meters, and this is after if they don't hit terrain. If they hit terrain, well then fuck off. You're not getting your fucking blade reflected to you. Dealing 100% laceration to any survivor hit by it. No, if the blade does reflect back to the Trickster, it's not gonna like restore it back to his ammo pool. It doesn't. It's gonna be like a fucking Thor's hammer thing. You throw it, and if you miss, and it doesn't hit a wall, and it goes 24 meters, it's going to fucking bolt back to where you are. And hopefully, hit a survivor on the way back. So it's pretty niche purple add-on, but sometimes it might get you some disgusting plays. So I think that'll about cover all the characters I wanted to cover with this episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good time Weskin.